first ever Central Region Scoop podcast. First things first, let's just get the introductions out of the way. I'm Caleb Newell. I'm currently a second-year veteran, former co-captain last year, current head captain of the team. I'm originally from Girard, Illinois. I go to UW-Platteville for civil engineering, and before I joined Dodgeball, I played baseball and football.
I'm Jerome Warren. Everyone calls me JT. I'm a fourth-year veteran. I'm a former president and vice president of Platteville, and I guess also co-captain, but hometown from Rock Falls, Illinois. My major is finance, and sports I did prior to Dodgeball, I just ran a lot. Cross-country and track is about all I did, basically.
Yeah. Still transferred over.
Yeah, give me something.
So basically, we wanted to start this podcast to bring in lesser-known teams, especially around the Central region, and just talk about them and get them some exposure. And that way we can also push this out so that the league, gets a face to the name and a face to the people. We're also going to talk about past, future tournaments that we have coming up, as well as highlighting any key players from any team that stood out.
And possibly bringing in players from those teams.
Yeah, for interviews and or just talking about the league and getting them some exposure.
And their own team as well is, I guess, the main thing. So should we get into the first topic of conversation?
Yeah, tournament talk. So we had, we went to the Red Hot Classic hosted by Miami, Ohio. And we went 3-0, which is a great start for UW-Platteville. I don't think
we haven't done that in so long.
Yeah, we haven't done that in years. So, that's, pat ourselves on the back for that. We played very well. And on top of that, we only had 7 practices.
Yeah.
2 of which we pinched in. The rest of them were all open palm. So
most people pinched.
Yeah, most people pinched. So, let's talk about the good. Team throws and coordination.
Oh, yeah.
So team throws, if you had watched any of the stream, that it's up on the NCDA YouTube now. They were a highlight of our team. 1 point, Chad Jackal, a player here, and myself combined for 8. Jackal, that's how you actually pronounce it?
Jackal.
Well, there you go, Chad Jackal. Always called him Jackal. Yikes. We combined for 8.5 kills, just ourselves off of team throws.
It was very impressive.
Yeah, it was great to have Chad back and to see him, having fun, just because.
I think he went to 1 tournament last year.
Yeah, and actually, played. The rest of the time was all B tournament stuff, so it was great to have him back. I personally believe that some of our T throws are, some of the best in the league.
It's because they're so accurate. They're powerful, and they're not. There's stronger throwers in the league, but because you two are just so accurate with where you
that also helps, and we're fast.
Yeah,
we're fast on top of that. So I guess being in the league, just expect to see that moving forward. Additionally, communication. This was a focus that the captains really wanted to make a point of this year, because last year we had some turmoil, and we didn't really figure that out until. Probably the UC tournament last year.
Even figuring that out, this is the best communication I've seen in 4 years.
So,
last tournament. So
right, and not only was it the captains directing traffic, but the interplayer communications. We'd call a team throw, and you would hear that side actually discussing, all right, we're going to pick this target, or we're going to throw off of you. So, that was just great to see, and I'm really excited to see that going into the UNL tournament here coming up.
Also, the other thing is the halftime adjustments that we made.
Yeah, and even point adjustments.
Yeah.
That's something that we didn't do at all last year.
It was always just stick to the game plan, keep going no matter what. It wasn't no adjustments, just try to capitalize on our game.
Yeah, and, it didn't really work out for us. You can really see that in the UC game at Nationals, where the first point we stuck to our game plan, and then after they took 1 point against us, we just fell apart. We went back to our old ways, and, we ended up losing that game. It was still a close game.
We also didn't catch, I think, at all in the second half either.
Not a single bit. The very last point we did, some freshmen made some good catches, but, it meant nothing. Essentially. It was just good for them to get experience. But those are the highlights, I would say. And, give credit to the teams that were there. They may not have been ranked the highest when we went into that tournament, but I think they have some serious talent, and give them a couple of years, especially Miami.
Yeah, Miami shocked me at this tournament. They definitely had a lot of players who, in the future, they were down on themselves actually a lot of the tournament. I talked with a few of them, but they definitely do have talent. Give them a year or two, and they're going to be back up there.
Number 18, Jay Patel, number 8, Max Erdling. Those guys, they have some cannons. Number 10, Cole. He's got a very Italian last name, so I'm not going to pronounce it because I don't know how to pronounce it. But number 10, they've all got really good throws. They're young, so just expect them when they're seniors or juniors even to really come around in the league.
We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, but for the bad, there wasn't enough catching.
I feel like me and Jalen were the only ones who really caught at the tournament. There was a few people who got some straggle catches.
I think the next up behind you and Jalen was Austin. He had 6 from what I've counted.
Okay.
On the entire day, which is still good.
Yeah. Still great. And
but
then Tom had 2, I believe.
Yep, Tom had 2. Chad had a couple, which, to be fair, was more catching than I think we had last year. I mean,
because last year was basically just me, Jake, and Eli.
Yeah.
Austin had a couple straggles.
I had a couple straggles, but I mean, it wasn't anything significant. Like we didn't really. There was a couple people who are like, wow, JT or Eli, we need to only team throw at them, or Jake, we only need to team throw at him because they can catch. They're going to catch one of them at least. So not enough catching, but I think it's on the up. I think this is a trend where
a lot of people went for catches too and just missed them.
Yeah.
So that is good.
Yeah. That's kind of something we've also talked about at practice. Like, hey, just if you're last alive or the last couple, go for a catch, see if you make it. If you make it, you bring someone in. If you don't, oh, well, we'll get it on the next point. Another thing, the bad, we didn't see a whole lot of it, but there were points where we did have solo play. We were playing as individuals.
It was specifically during Akron, I noticed, because we were confident we were 2-0. Akron was going in supposed to be a lesser team than BG when they ended up coming out on top.
Yep.
Which, good for them. Both BG and Akron played their hearts out all day. Credits to all teams there. They were great. But definitely there was more solo play because of our own confidence, which is can't happen.
Yeah, it can't happen. And we've already recognized this. We talked about it at our last practice. And we're working towards that. I would say that with our solo play, we have individuals that are very good solo players, but that's just Chad is a great solo player. Noah, I would say our top 7, 8 guys could all play very well solo, but our strength is together.
Yes. We can do it, but better together.
Yeah. And I would say solo play really defined our 2021 season. Especially the very first semester, it was rough. We did not play well at all.
There was a few points where some people had some spectacular points because they played solo and they just murdered the whole team. But can't happen,
Yeah, it can be seen if you go back on our film. It can be seen how much individualism we had. But I think we've recovered from those. Yeah. We've recovered from those moments, and I think moving forward with the mindset that we had at Miami, we should transfer that over for the rest of the season.
I definitely agree.
I guess the next point forward is noteworthy performances. So we want to recognize some veterans, second years, and rookies just to kind of get their names out there. This is just specifically for our team, just because this is our podcast. We're running it, so
do what we want.
So I think you can go first.
My veteran pick was Chad Jekyll. He has always been. I personally would say, some people wouldn't agree, I think he's a top player in the league if he actually went to tournaments.
Yeah, and he performed his best.
Yeah.
He is a very good individual player, but it was insane to see how good he was when we worked as a team.
Yeah.
He shined. So, shouts out to him. I hope to see him continue to do that.
Thinking he had 2 different times tendonitis in his shoulder, so he can't throw overhand anymore, which was super powerful. And it was one of the hardest catches it was one of the hardest throws to catch in the league, personally, in my opinion. And he can't do it anymore because he can't throw that way. And then so he developed that sidearm, and it's just...
But it's still good, and it's still hard when he wants it to be. He's a very good player. So
one of the best blockers in the league as well.
Yeah.
And nobody knows about him because he doesn't go to tournaments.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Right. And for me, our noteworthy veteran was Austin. He kind of played a different role than what he has in the past. We had him placed in the middle with Tom, which is nothing he's never done. And if you watch it, he is constantly pushing up. He's usually always the first or second person up in a push, and he was backing people down all day. And he had moments where he would catch people bad.
Yeah.
He would get a hold of some people, and he's got a strong throw as well. And he's kind of got an awkward submarine windup, and it's so hard to track. It's so hard to track.
Because it can either go straight up or it's going to go
straight at you.
It doesn't really curve much.
Yeah.
But it's the tracking because nobody really throws like that.
No. So it's really hard to see. And so we want to get him in other spots, but he shined in the middle for sure.
I agree.
For second-year players, I
think we both agree that it was Jalen Sims.
Yeah. Jalen, comparatively to last year to now, he's grown exponentially. He's developed this really hard throw, and he now understands the transition style gameplay. So, he's gotten on top of me a couple times in practices and gotten a hold of me, and we're not going that hard.
No.
So, it was great to see him as well. On top of that, his catching ability.
I didn't think it was going to be like that.
I think he got 4 catches in one game.
Yeah.
I haven't checked the rest of the stats. We have to get to that still.
Yep.
But, he played incredibly well. There was definitely some other second-year players that played well, but Jalen shined out of all of them.
There was one thing that was brought up to me by somebody from another team. Jalen last year kind of looked lost on the court necessarily, that he couldn't keep up with the game. This is the first tournament I've seen Jalen that looked like he was ahead of it.
Oh, yeah.
He knew exactly what was happening, when it was going to happen, everything.
Yeah, and he's talking.
Yes,
which is
talking a lot more, which is great.
Yeah, because he was more of a silent player last year, But I think he was a lot of that time he was just absorbing information, and having him being around a lot of the veterans, because he was one of our starters last year. Yep. So I think that definitely helped him. He got the most experience out of all the freshmen / rookies besides myself, but I was kind of that transition style player when it comes to being a rookie. So, he's shot up.
I think this was his breakout tournament.
Yeah.
I genuinely think this was his breakout. After this, we should expect this, maybe not the level of play he had, but high level of play we should expect.
And you know what? And if he does better, awesome.
Yeah.
Won't complain.
Not at all. On to rookies?
On to rookies, yeah. So
I had Dylan Fabry. I do not know how to pronounce the last name properly, but his blocking was just impeccable. For a rookie especially, who had 7 practices,
Which, by the way, he didn't know how to pinch. We didn't teach him pinch yet.
Nope, didn't teach him pinch.
On purpose.
And he was just blocking incredible for a lot of the veterans, and we didn't expect that, which is why I think he played the most out of all the rookies, I think.
It was him or Bailey.
Yeah.
It had to be. They were constantly being rotated in. And speaking of Bailey, that was my pick. Not just... I don't think he blocked as well as Dylan, but his ability to listen and then move with the team was great. He did have this funny moment where there was a floater that came into the back line, and he got big old eyes, and he it bounced off his chest and he dropped it, and
he wanted that pretty bad.
He did want it, and I gave him a pat on the back. I was like, hey man, we don't catch those slow ones. They're the hardest to catch. I don't know why. You're so used to a little bit more speed, so when you get those slow balls, you just happen to miss them. It happened to me all the time. Happens to Eli still.
Oh, yeah.
So
happens to me too, honestly. Those slow ones, sometimes you just have to block them because you'll close in your arms before it's even there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just right off your hands, and you're just like,
yeah, you look like a fool. But it's just how it is.
Yeah.
That's just how dodgeball goes.
It's a crazy sport, man.
It really is. People don't really understand, when they're like, oh, you play college dodgeball. They have no idea.
No.
Everyone's like, oh, have you seen the movie?
Yeah,
it's like,
every time.
No kidding.
Oh, you're like the average Joes. Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Cool.
But now we're done with, noteworthy people, noteworthy players. I think we should talk about upcoming events.
I agree. The main one coming up, not this weekend, but the following. I feel like this is one that I'm looking forward to.
I think a lot of people are going to tune in just due to our performance and UNL's performance at nationals, and we've already kind of put the league on notice that the Central Region isn't one to overlook anymore.
Scoff at, yeah.
So
we're talking about the Cornhusker Clash.
Yeah,
Cornhusker Clash.
Cornhusker Clash. It's on October 8th. It'll be played at 8 o'clock. Was it Mountain Time?
I think it's Mountain Time.
So that'll be about 10 o'clock Eastern for all the people that are in the Eastern Time, which is most of the league. We'd love to see you on the stream.
Of course.
We'll have it up. It'll be on our YouTube, like always.
I think us versus UNL is one of the biggest rivalries in the league. Mm-hmm. It might not be one of the longest, but
I think after that you probably have Towson, JMU, and then Michigan State, Grand Valley.
Yeah.
I think those are your big, and then there's us. Obviously, I'm sure there's probably some Ohio region.
There's a lot of Ohio region ones.
But I'm just not familiar enough with those. So,
but I do feel like us versus UNL is a major rivalry that a lot of people do know, but that a lot of people don't know as well. But we play each other last year six times.
6 times.
I also love those guys. But when it comes to on the court, it's war every single time.
It's a good game. It's
hard fought every single game, no matter what the score is.
Yeah.
It's always hard fought.
Well, a lot of times people look at the final score and think they just steamrolled us, especially last year. But if you watch a lot of those points, it's down 3-3 or 4-3, or we even had the man advantage. We made silly mistakes and they capitalized.
They just were better at end game than we were.
Yeah, they played as a team, as a unit the entire time. They never stopped, which credit to them. I don't know. What changed over the time with UNL, but I think Dustin, their coach now, was a big factor in, turning that around.
UNL,
and Robin. Give Robin her credit. Robin was very good.
She was a major factor of gluing that team together, from what I viewed, at least.
Yeah, they might tell you something different. Yeah. But, we'll never know. But, heading into this tournament, it's arguably going to be our hardest matchup this semester, and not in the fact that we don't think it's going to be. We could go up against Grand Valley. I would say UNL is a tougher match because
we just play them so much.
Yeah,
we might get steamrolled by Grand Valley, but
this is. Right now I think they're ranked 10th. We're ranked 8th after this tournament, which is great. But they were ranked 6th last. After nationals, so they're a good team, and no one really believed us until they saw them in nationals. Yeah. So
they're a team that'll make you fight tooth and nail for every single out.
Yeah,
I don't know another team in the league that makes you fight that hard just for an out.
Yeah, they team catch I don't know. Their luck with team catches is unreal.
That is something that last year their team catching was I don't know why, I don't know how, but it was good. Every single point they had 3.
Yeah. It was just UNL. You can't get away from it.
No.
But on top of that, since we play them so much, our players know who their best players are. Their players know who our best players are. So, you're going to see a lot of guys getting targeted, guaranteed.
They told me last year that they literally would throw at me right off the start just to get a catcher out because they don't want catchers in.
Yeah. So, obviously they have a strategy. We'll see if they changed it. I doubt it.
I do as well. It looks like I'm not running off the start.
Yeah. But, just expectations. I expect us to ride this momentum and this communication that we had at the Red Hot Classic. It was great. The energy was there. Everyone was cheering for each other. Mm-hmm. It was just, I don't know, something that I didn't see last year as a brand new player, and I don't know how long it's been since we've had that. I haven't been around for long enough.
I think going in, we have the advantage for the sole fact that we already have a tournament under our belt this year.
Yeah,
they're all rusty.
And they only had one player play at USA Dodgeball events, and it was Colby.
Phenomenal player.
Great arm. He can really get a hold of you if he so chooses to. Mm-hmm. And it's fast. He's an athlete. He's built like a Mack truck.
Have caught him.
Yeah.
Got to throw in a little shade there.
Yeah, but he's a good kid. He's a good guy.
I love the guy. He's great. They did lose 2 key players though, Dustin and Ethan.
Yep.
Ethan was, in my opinion, one of the most underrated catchers in the league. Just because he was from UNL, nobody knew him.
Yeah,
and he was their best catcher.
He also had a killer retreating throw.
I have never seen anybody else in the league be able to back up and throw perfectly at your toes.
Yeah,
and it hit every time.
Yeah, never missed.
Never. And then Dustin was just a great all-round player.
Yeah, he was a good round player. And I don't think those guys got enough recognition.
No.
When it came to the Midway South list, when it came to All-American, Dustin and Ethan should have made second team. Let's be real. Those guys were very good.
They should have at least came close, had honorable mentions or something.
Yeah.
They were great players.
That's kind of the whole reason why we started this podcast. So we could
our names out here.
To get the names out. But like I said, if we play like we did at the Red Hot Classic, we should come out victorious. Just based off of how we played as a team. And we're taking more people, more veterans.
What do we got, 21 people?
21 right now. I think 22 with Chad.
22 with Chad.
So
obviously we can only have 18, but they do have a B game.
But they do have a B game, and apparently they have 40 people.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah. So the B game's gonna be nice just to get those other people some experience. But they are a D1 school, so I mean it is to be expected.
Do we have the least population in the league for a school? One of them. We have to be down there.
We have to. I mean, is there any other D3 school in the league right now?
There might be. I don't know what.
I guess we'd have to look at like North Georgia and Georgia Southern.
I don't know how big Kent is either. I apologize, but
I think Kent's a D1 school. They They just played Georgia. I
don't know
football.
my college pretty well. I don't know colleges that well, so.
But as individuals, I mean, I think what we should expect of ourselves. For myself, expect me to get kills in transition. I think that's something that's the best part of my game. Against them, I was dominant.
Yeah.
As a rookie last year.
They also didn't know who you were.
Yeah, they had no idea who I was. Now. After I threw at them, they're like, hey, we probably shouldn't get thrown at by number 7. They've told you that. They told me that.
They told me that immediately after because I talk to those guys all the time. They're like, number 7, man, he has a bit of a cannon.
Yeah, but, not to talk myself up a whole lot, but now, though, I have a ton of knowledge and experience of the game. I've watched so much film. I play in USA Dodgeball events. So
you and me might watch the most film on the team.
Yeah, probably, arguably.
Yeah.
I just like to watch film just to make myself better, and I like to critique myself, things I should have done.
Oh, yeah, first thing I do is watch myself. It's kind of...
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but...
It's a little egocentric.
But I like to see where I was wrong and where I was right and how I could improve upon it.
Also, if you are watching the stream, I am guaranteeing that I'm probably an early target off a team throw.
I think I'm a late target if I'm not running off rip. I think because last year they literally yelled at each other as soon as they solo throwed me every single time.
Yeah.
So I think that my stamina is going to help me because they're going to have me late in points just about every time.
Yeah.
Is the presumed, I guess, thought.
Yeah. But also I've been trying to increase my catching ability. That's something that I know was my least valuable asset of facet of my game last year, just in general. So I would like to look for these opportunities to actually get better at that. But what do you expect from yourself?
If they're not going to throw at me at the Red Hawk Classic, I got a lot of compliments of how much faster my throw has gotten. It's by no means elite, but it's accurate, and I do it in transition.
Yep.
So I know when to throw, and my speed, you can catch it. The problem is if you're backing up, it's a hard throw to catch.
Yeah.
It's always hard to catch backing up, and I'm able to get that curve over a blocker. Mm-hmm. So that is, if they're not going to throw at me, I might as well throw at them, is how it is. And I feel like over the summer I worked my butt off to get it off.
Yeah,
so.
And you're still doing it. I mean, last week you threw like 100 balls a day.
For 4 days a week, I've been throwing 100-plus balls, and my arm feels fine. I did have an injury. I have a strained muscle in my hand, so I can't really throw right now. But I'll be 100% by the UNL tournament, which is great.
Yeah, that's great news heading into that.
Yes.
But, I mean, that's really all I
have to say. I want to catch.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's the usual.
But so we have some events coming up soon. Obviously, the UNL Cornhusker Clash. Mm-hmm. But we do have our home tournament on November 12th. We're trying to go to a tournament in between there.
Yes.
But we're focusing on the one that we know is guaranteed currently.
Guaranteed. Here.
So this is the third marked installment of the Pioneer Classic. I'm assuming we probably had more between then, but this is the third one marked by the NCDA. Mm-hmm. And it's looking like it's going to be the biggest turnout we've ever had, hosted.
That's true.
I mean, I think in the past you guys had that one random team from Louisiana show up. You had DePaul.
Props to them, dude. Props to them for driving all the way to Platteville.
17 hours to lose every game.
That's a little tough.
That's just how it is. But also, you guys had DePaul when they were still around. SIUE. And
I hope they come back.
Yeah, it would be nice to have them come back. It would be nice for the U of I team.
Illinois kind of shafted a lot of the...
During COVID.
Yeah. They weren't allowed to meet more than 4 people, so they couldn't even practice, and they couldn't recruit. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's just Illinois. That was just what it was. But, and what's nice is I think the reason why this is probably going to be our biggest turnout is because our performances at nationals. Us, UNL, put the central region on the map, and now people are like, oh, wow, it's actually worth our time to go out there and play them so we can actually see them before nationals.
People know that we'll go to them, but they want to see us at our full strength, and they also know UNL is not going to go all the way out,
to them, which
you can't expect them to.
Yeah, it's a 15-hour drive to the nearest school.
That. And so a lot of people are wanting to play UNL. There's a thought in the back of my head, like, we might not even play UNL at our home tournament.
I'm not going to complain. I'm going to be honest. We played them so much. I mean, it's tough playing them constantly. So if we can go a day where we could not play them and cheer them on, that'd be awesome. Because they were cheering us on, we were cheering them on at nationals. It was just fun to
shagging for each other as well if needed.
It was just fun to have around. But speaking of all these teams coming, we will have 2 new clubs having their inaugural matches at our tournament this year.
Yes. It's great to see more clubs, especially in the midway. We need this. We need this area packed.
The central region now. It's no longer the midway, but in our hearts.
In our hearts, it's always the midway.
So we have Concordia University of Wisconsin. That is headed by Connor Knott, is how I'm assuming you say his last name. I don't see any other way.
Who's never played any form of
dodgeball,
NCDA or USA.
Nope. But so he was a former baseball guy.
Pitcher, right?
I don't know. I would have to message him. I don't know personally.
Have to get in contact with them.
Yep, but he seemed really excited. He got 11 guys apparently at his first practice. I don't know if he's kept those numbers around. I haven't been in contact with him.
Yeah,
but
we'll have to go up there sometime.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour drive, so if we could go up there for a practice or something and just talk to him, help him out. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And then we also have the University of Illinois out of Urbana-Champaign, and that is headed by Charles Cardenas. I'm assuming.
That sounds right.
I had the fortunate experience to play with him at USA Dodgeball Round 3.
I know a lot of UWP guys played at Round 3. I was the only one who didn't play with you guys, I believe.
But you were with your own team.
The Chaos guys and those people. So
we didn't even get to play each other. We played each other in open.
In open, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah, we're not going to count that one.
No.
But Charles, he played at round 2 as well, from what I was told.
Oh,
I think he was with Tom and Eric. I'm not really sure, but that's what they told me. He only had 1 tournament experience heading into round 3, and he absorbed so much information.
Anybody that came up to him, even me, he didn't know me that well, and I was just shooting him things, and he just listened to it.
His throw was decent. I mean, he still needed to learn how to actually really grip the ball and get some spin on it. But it was decent. And then he showed up to our memorial tournament for the Tim Ebert Memorial Tournament, and he balled out.
He played really well.
He played really well. I mean, that was his 3rd tournament. Granted, it was a bunch of old alumni that were playing in memory, but he was playing current players, and he caught current players. So, I mean, it was just, I'm impressed.
Their program is under good control.
They got good hands.
Yeah. For somebody who's never played, at least. Right.
And I've been in contact with him. I don't know how their practices are going. I think I have to get with Eric on that and just kind of ask, because I think he's the only one that's really talking to him, besides maybe Wes, because Wes is like the expansion outreach. But for, established clubs, we also have Cleveland State University, Western Michigan, and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Those are guaranteed.
Yes.
But after the Red Hot Classic, University of Akron came up to us and was asking when our home tournament is, and we told them November 12th. They seemed excited about the idea.
Interested. They didn't give us a guarantee, but they were like, we'll talk about it, have a couple meetings.
And then I think Clay was working on doing a fundraiser to see if they could possibly get some money. But our game against them was good, and I had fun playing against those guys. It was competitive.
They were great guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Phenomenal talent.
Like I said, it's not a guarantee, but, I'm hopeful.
I think also a lot of the reason why a lot of these teams is the networking that a lot of our players have been doing as well, because we're making friends across the league.
Yeah, especially the Discord's definitely helped with that.
Yeah, the Discord is a great thing.
Yeah, if you're a member of a current team and you do not have the Discord, I would highly recommend getting it just to kind of get a feel of names.
Yeah.
You might not, see the face on these people, but at least get names. I think that's, it's definitely helped. I've met Matt, Chris. Even the people on the content team. It's a good community, and I think we're.
And a lot of them, if you ever have any questions, and answers are immediate.
I mean,
because everybody has a lot of knowledge.
And and they're just excited to talk about dodgeball.
Oh yeah, everyone in the league just wants to talk dodgeball.
Yeah, it's just
how it is. It's a great community. You know, there's a lot of heated moments at time. Especially during tournaments, but the community itself is just great, and you can network with so many people. It's a phenomenal thing.
Absolutely. But I mean, that's really all I have for the home tournament.
Yeah.
So I guess we should probably just wrap this up. If you aren't following us on our social medias, we're trying to be really active this year, pump out as much content as possible. So right now our Instagram has probably the most content out of everything because it's just the easiest to use.
Yep.
That's at the Platteville Dodgeball Club. Twitter is Dodgeball UWP, same with Facebook. And then our YouTube is just UW-Platteville Dodgeball Club. That's where this video will be posted. And then we'll just, pop up a highlight on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll put it in, we'll link our YouTube and our link tree, which is in all of our bios on social media. So if you're curious about any of that, click on our link tree, you'll find it there. Other than that,
if you want to come on the podcast, message either me or Caleb or any of the socials as well. We're trying, like we said, we're trying to get teams in here that don't get a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this a couple times a month, maybe.
Yeah, if we can. We're all busy, but if we have stuff to talk about, we'll definitely meet up and talk about it.
Especially Midway or Central.
Yeah. Hey,
that'll take a while to get used to.
Georgia Southern, if you're watching, contact us. Northern Georgia.
Yep.
If you're watching, contact us. We'd love to get you guys on here so we can get some attention, even if there's 4 people watching.
Or the Colorado team.
Or hey, Kevin Bailey, have them reach out to us. I mean, you're not technically in the Central region, but your closest member is UNL. So we're going to
that's tough. That's really tough.
And they're 8 hours. It's a long drive. I checked. I was curious. So reach out to us. We can get you on here. We can at least get, one of your board members or a current player, if they're they're really interested, we can get them on here, or they can get in contact with us and they can just learn more about the game because we're really eager to talk and expand. If we can play a game inside of our own state and leave that morning and get back the same day, I wouldn't complain.
We don't have that luxury that Michigan and Ohio has.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
It's expensive, and that's no hate to them. That's just that's just what they got.
Cookie crumbles.
Yep. Other than that,
yeah.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
That is the Central Region Scoop. See you next time.